Hello, everybody. Happy Pride Month. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about some medical misinformation. Yay! I know you're all super excited. So before we get into it, let's roll the disclaimer.
Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa. And if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel. My name is Bethany. I do opera and musical theater, and I did do MLM. I was in Beachbody from 2014 to 2021, and now I am sharing all of the lessons I've learned deprogramming and deconstructing from being in an MLM, which exposes you to the personal development world, which exposes you to the manifestation world. And on this channel, we talk about all of it. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you. It is now Pride Month, although you may not be seeing this until July because I have pre-filmed quite a bit. I have some vacations and summer stuff coming up. So during the month of June, I am doing a bunch of makeup looks inspired by the various pride flags, and you can see those on my TikTok and Instagram, Bethany B. Soprano. This is not a makeup channel, but I did do an online makeup artist certification, and I love to do makeup, and today's look is inspired by the trans flag, which is such a beautiful color scheme. And so that's what today's look is, and that's why we're looking a little bit, fun and funky. And throughout July and August, you might see some pride looks, and we'll just keep pride going for a couple more months. Why not? We kind of all need it, don't we? Anyway, so that being said, let's get into today's person that I'm looking at, our top MLM fail. And what would you know? I know this is going to be very shocking for some of you guys, but this is a former body hun who has now moved on to make wellness and faster way to fat loss. I know. It's shocking. We've never seen that before. It's not like they're all doing it or anything. So thank you to the subscriber who sent this to me, because I screen recorded some of her Instagram story because she was just spreading medical misinformation like nobody's business. But let's take a look at her name's Sarah, and she's an identical twin, which I guess is like a big part of her brand. I'm like, okay, you can be a twin, you can be a regular sibling. Like, what does that I don't get it. Anyway, I have a sibling. What do you call niece and nephew? I have a niece and nephew that are twins. I don't know if there's a gender neutral term for, nieces and nephews all together, but yeah, they each have their own personality, their own interests. I guess being a twin, she's kind of just using it as like kind of a gimmick, something to stand out. But anyway, she says helping women 35 plus lose the last 5 to 15 pounds, wake up, build muscle, eat clean, former teacher, twin with twins, gluten and dairy free meal plans and info. She says she's a women's fat loss coach. Again, I will once again ask, what are your qualifications? If it's just that you're a faster way to fat loss coach and you've never done any type of personal training certification like with ACE or NASM or any of those people, I'm sorry, you're not qualified. So let's just get into, because the things she was saying on her Instagram story were just like misinformation out the wazoo. I did want to talk about one of her pinned before and after picture, because let me scoot so you can see. Like, what is this? How is it? Here's what I see. The difference between the first picture and the second picture is a spray tan and a pose. That is literally all. With some of them, with some of these before and after pictures, I can kind of see like, maybe they actually did lose like 5 pounds or like some water weight, or like maybe they actually did lose a little bit of weight, right? Whether that's actual fat or water weight or whatever. But with this, I see zero weight loss. I see a spray tan, I see a different pose, and I see her sucking in. Like nothing looks different. Different swimsuits and a spray tan and like turning her body and sucking in. I can't even see like water weight lost, honestly. It's all just like angles and shading. So we've looked at some egregious before and after pictures on this channel, but I would say this is one of the most egregious ones. So yeah, wow, it's just wow. Okay, so let's get into what her story was. When I looked at her story, she was listed as one of the top people in Faster Way to Fat Loss. I like how it says CEO retreat, top 20. None of you guys are CEOs. You don't have 20 CEOs. Just like you don't have 20 popes. Like we just got a new pope. He's from Chicago. Yay. I love it. I've been consuming the pope memes. That was a good few days. On social media, a break from all the terrible news where Chicagoans were making memes about the new pope, and they were so funny, and that was a nice little break from the horrors. Yeah, Sarah Sarvi. She is literally number 19, which fine. Good for you, top 20, but I have some things to say about this. Okay, recognition isn't everything, but I struggled for years for this kind of success with body. It was wrapped in ranks and team and legs and old school MLM junk. To be number 19 in Faster Way and number 38 in Make is everything. Also proof that you can have success in multiple endeavors, and these two pair so well together. Okay. First of all, when did you join Body? That's my first question. Because if you joined Body after 2013, yeah, you're going to struggle unless you had a big following or a big community that you could immediately enroll. If you don't get in early, you are going to struggle. That's how MLMs are designed. And Make Wellness, I'm sorry to say, girly, is not better. Make Wellness is just new. And like I've said a million times, it's going to slide. It's going to decline faster than Beachbody did. It's a steep ascent and a steep decline because that is where we are in the world of MLM. And it's still an MLM. The fact that she's it was wrapped up in ranks and team and legs and old school MLM junk. Okay, is this new school MLM junk? It's still MLM junk. It's still bad. It's still a scam. It's still ripping people off. Your success is going to be short-lived. And I tried to look up Make Wellness's compensation plan. And in every other MLM, before you join, you can look up the different ranks. I remember that in Beachbody, you could look up what the ranks were. You could look up the compensation plan before joining. But in Make Wellness, you can't. And you have to join. I went as far as I could without actually joining or putting in a credit card. And I still couldn't find a physical copy of the compensation plan to look at and to see. Because all we know now, I reacted to Scotty. I reacted to a lot of Make Wellness people at this point, and they're all being very vague. They're like, oh, it's nothing like Beachbody. And then they'll, in the next breath, be like, to reach Diamond and Beachbody, some of these people never did, but now they're reaching it in their first week or their first month, the equivalent of Diamond. And I'm like, okay, so is it like Beachbody or not? What's the compensation plan? What does Diamond mean? What are the ranks and what are the requirements to hit those ranks? I don't know because I can't get my hands on a copy of the compensation plan. So if anyone has one, please send it to me. But it's just it's so funny to me too how they're bad-mouthing Beachbody and saying like, oh, this is so much better. But I'm like, literally the day before Beachbody announced they were going affiliate, you were trying to recruit people and you were saying it was the best thing ever. So I don't know. Okay. Now this was trying to go a full day without regular peanut butter. I'll try again tomorrow. It's like a rice cake with peanut butter and slices of banana on it. That seems like a very healthy snack. Is there something bad about peanut butter on the faster way to fat loss plan? I don't get it. And it doesn't look, as she said, regular peanut butter. This looks like natural peanut butter to me. It doesn't look like, like the Jif or whatever. Not that I guess there's like more sugar in it and like canola oil or something. I try to get the natural peanut butter, but it's fine, I think. And now she has this whole thing. A study that she didn't link says erythritol is bad for you, and so you have to like make these swaps, and she has a bunch of swaps. This is another thing like that we would do in Beachbody, is that we would present ourselves as kind of experts and be like, here's the healthier alternative to this. And I'm like, you're not a nutritionist. You're not a dietitian. I did it too when I was in Beachbody. Like, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a dietitian. But it's just like, also the whole, look, she didn't link the study. I didn't Google. But because the meat of this video is coming and I didn't want to spend a lot of time on it. But like erythritol, there's always been studies about these different sugar substitutes, and like I remember it was like aspartame in the 90s or like the early 2000s, because like everyone was drinking diet soda in the 90s, and then the early 2000s people were like, oh my gosh, aspartame is a carcinogen and like it can cause cancer. And like ultimately it's like now we all know it's like a really tiny percentage that it can be a carcinogen. Like it's not as scary as they said it was. So I take it with a grain of salt, because erythritol is, I believe that's like, is that stevia or is that a different thing than stevia? Anyway, it's like the new 0-calorie sweetener. And right now we're in a place where there's so many conspiracy theories around health and different ingredients. And I just be wary, because the medical conspiracy theory to extreme alt-right pipeline is real, and like just don't let your concern for your health get you sucked into fascism. That's what I would say, but I don't know. This next story slide that says, your habits decide your future. Consistency beats intensity and talent always. This is one of those things that I'm like, yes, this is true, but it's not true in an MLM. If you get in early, so there's a lot of luck, and you like recruit everybody you can really intensely right away, then someone who joins 2 years later, or in this case, even like 2 months later, can be consistent with inviting 3 people a day, every day for years, and never get to your level. So they use these things that like are common sense, but then they make them seem like they apply to this when they don't. Like, and they do apply like to like healthy lifestyle, but that doesn't mean you have to take those freaking peptides every day. Like, you don't need these peptides. First of all, I don't think they do anything of what they say they do, but you don't need supplements if you are doing all the things. Any type of supplement can just make that easier. It's a tool. It's not the foundation. It's not what's going to make you live a healthy lifestyle. Obviously, people who need to supplement something that like, their body isn't doing, or like they have some kind of underlying issue that they need a supplement for. Yeah. But in general, to live a healthy lifestyle, to do the things that these MLM Huns advertise, like building muscle and losing fat, like you don't need supplements for that. You can do that with just regular food. So this is supposedly proof of fit peptide. I've never been able to use 15s for this move. And she's using doing tricep kickbacks. Okay, that does not prove the fit peptide. There are so many things. Again, I'm not a personal trainer, but I know enough to know that in Beachbody, you're always changing programs. So you're switching to like different styles of working out. But if you stick with strength building and you follow a weightlifting program to build strength, then you will be able to increase your weights over time. If you move to different styles of working out and you're no longer doing tricep kickbacks for like 2 months because you're doing bar instead, then yeah, you might end up kind of always using the same weights for those tricep kickbacks because you're not actually getting stronger in your triceps. But like, if you keep doing tricep kickbacks and you increase your weights and you eat enough protein, then you're going to get stronger and you're going to be able to lift heavier. This is not mystical. You don't need a magical peptide to make you able to lift heavier weights. You just need progressive overload. Like, you need a personal trainer. You should sign up for Jen. Like, Jen can help you. Jen Baruso, Anchor Fit, can help you get stronger and increase the weights you're using for different workouts. Just ask her, take one of her programs and talk to her about your goals, and she can help design a program for you. So there you go. I'm just going to plug Jen, but any personal trainer that you like. But, you know, Jen is also, she's been on my channel and she's awesome and she's part of the Snark crew. And she was a former Beachbody coach who has been speaking out for longer than I have, because I think she left before I did. But anyway, she has this advertisement for the benefits of FIT. Naturally protect muscle mass. Okay. Build, repair, and retain lean muscle for optimal strength. Boost performance and recover faster. Clinical studies showed a 54% increase in strength recovery. Clinical studies, the one by the PhD candidate? The one that you did yourself, like not a third party, like blind testing? And then like, what's a 54% increase in strength recovery? Is that like 54% of people didn't feel as sore the next day? 54% of people could lift heavier? Like, what does strength recovery mean in the 54%? Or like the same person could recover 54% faster? Like, I don't understand what that means. Clinical studies, once again, their own clinical studies, showed 47% less fatigue with a return to higher than baseline strength. Increases NAD plus levels. I don't know what NAD plus is. This is one of her people. One day you're living with an unknown autoimmune disease that's causing the myelin layer in the brain to disappear over time and feel 90 years old daily. To finally feel like I'm alive, I hadn't slept enough because I kept feeling like I was getting shocked. And since starting peptides, I haven't had any zaps. I've suffered multiple dizzy spells daily and haven't had any. I think she means she used to suffer them and then she hasn't had any since starting Make Wellness. I have the energy to do things I've wanted. I can work out without feeling out of breath or my body hurts. I packed my youngest and carried the second youngest for almost 3/4 of a mile yesterday. That was an extra almost 60 pounds that I would have never carried before. I've also cut back on my snacking by a lot. Let me tell ya, I went Easter shopping and never once thought about candy for myself. If there is one thing I have learned, go for it. You never know what something could do for you. These products have changed my strength, eating habits, mood, energy, sleep, and my overall well-being. I've never been one to invest in myself, but I'm so glad that I did because it feels good to finally feel alive again. Okay, so look, here's the thing. Women are particularly vulnerable to this type of story because women are like chronically underdiagnosed for autoimmune disorders because we're not taken seriously at the doctors, and often women really have to fight to get a diagnosis to find out what's wrong with them. I mean, the amount of stories that I've heard about women going from doctor to doctor, not being taken seriously, going on a years-long journey, living through pain, and then finally being diagnosed with like endometriosis or, whatever, any other type of illness. Women's medicine is like way behind men's. The percentage of funding that goes into it's just a lot. This is not a video on that, but I did want to give some context because women suffer more and are not taken as seriously when it comes to chronic illness, chronic pain, things like that. However, these peptides have not been studied, even their own like super biased studies that they've done by their PhD candidate have not studied their effects on chronic illness, this illness in particular. This is all her perception. And it could be a placebo effect. It could be just the fact that maybe she's eating healthier. Maybe the carb cycling is good for whatever autoimmune disease. I'm not familiar with what this is. But I do know that for various conditions, eating a lower carb diet can be helpful. It's just, there's so many, and that's the thing about scientific studies is that they have to control for so many factors and they have to have a control group. And so you just can never, one person saying, I took this and my symptoms are better, therefore this works for all these types of symptoms. That's not science. That is not reliable. Her truth is her truth. Maybe she feels better. You can't attribute it to the peptides. That's not a scientific study. It's just not. And I'm sorry, like, I'm not here to dismiss anyone's personal experience, but your personal experience is not a scientific study. And to use that personal experience to try to sell something as a miracle cure is irresponsible at best and extremely harmful at worst. And you're taking advantage of people and exploiting them to put them in your downline and make money off of them, which is evil. So, okay. Oh my gosh. This is another one. I did a post on my Instagram the other day where I literally like stood really close to my mirror and had my leggings pulled down and I was like, as my before picture, I'll just put it up here so you can see it. And then in my after picture, I like pulled up my leggings and I posed and I stood far away. And I was like, after taking peptides, I've immediately lost 20 pounds. But how is that not what she's doing? Like, I'm sorry, you tilted your pelvis and stood further away from the camera and flexed your abs. That's like the only difference that I see between March 5th and April 16th. I'm sorry. What else were you doing besides the muscle and metabolic collection? Were you also doing faster rate of fat loss? Because any little shredding out, that's the carb cycling, babe. And here's another testimonial. I have struggled with weight loss for years. First week, I lost 5.1 pounds. That is not good. You should not be bragging about that. The only reason anyone should lose 5 pounds in a week is if they like had the flu and they couldn't keep anything down. Maybe they just finished their period and they were super bloated and the bloat went away. Like 5 pounds in a week, that's not normal. That's not good, especially if it's like actual weight loss. So either it's like bloating, whatever, like fluctuations. I have seen like a 3 or 4 pound weight loss in a week before, but it's always been like the week after my period or something. So I always know, I'm like, that's not real weight loss. These are just normal fluctuations. So, but you shouldn't be advertising, oh, you can lose 5 pounds in a week. You shouldn't be telling people that they should want to lose 5 pounds in a week. That is not healthy. It's not healthy. Max 1 to 2 pounds per week if you're trying to lose weight. Like, everybody knows that too. It is 2025. Everyone has known that for like 20 years, that you shouldn't try to lose more than 2 pounds a week. Like, What is happening to people? I am not, if you want to lose weight, like, more power to you. Like, I'm not against that. I am against this sudden return of we need to be skinny at all possible costs and give up everything because skinniness is now the altar we're worshiping at again. I'm like, no, I will not. I'm a millennial woman. I remember the Britney Spears, the Jessica Simpson, the Keira Knightley of it all, and this like super low-rise jeans, and I will not, I refuse. Anyway, fat mass down and muscle mass up. Again, did you get a DEXA scan? How do you know? Plus, I have been dealing with plantar fasciitis for a few months. Here it is. I also have plantar fasciitis. I have flat feet and I have bunions, and I have literally like had consultations with a podiatrist about if I need bunion surgery and my flat feet and all that kind of thing. So this is an area I actually have some expertise in. I was worried after walking around Orlando in flip-flops for 2 days at the event that I would be in terrible pain on Sunday, but my foot actually felt great, and Monday I had almost no pain. Now 2 weeks on the fit, I can run and jump again. Such an unexpected bonus. Plantar fasciitis is not your muscles. She's trying to like attribute this to metabolic and muscle peptides. Plantar fasciitis is the fascia. It's in the name. It's in the name. It's like your tendons and your fascia in your feet. This is ridiculous. Like, again, like, what else have you been doing? Like, my feet sometimes hurt in tennis shoes more than flip-flops. Like, it's not, you can't just tell this story and say like, oh, the peptides fixed my plantar fasciitis. It's not even related to any of this stuff. These Huns are always like, it's a miracle cure. Like, anything wrong in your body, these peptides can fix. And that is just so stupid. It's just stupid. Like, again, I'm not saying you're stupid. I'm saying you're saying something stupid. That it's like, plantar fasciitis, like maybe you started wearing like orthotics. Maybe you started like rolling out your feet on tennis balls. Like, these are things that I do. Maybe you bought some yoga toes or like some foot braces or something. Like, there are various things that can help with plantar fasciitis. And then it can just like also depend on what you've been doing that week. And like, I'm sorry, this is ridiculous. I will not believe for a second that peptides helped her plantar fasciitis and helped her feet not be sore walking around Orlando in flip-flops. That is ridiculous. I am sorry. I'm gonna, that's so stupid. It's so stupid. Okay, here. I was absolutely gobsmacked. Let's just listen to all this together. If you have some type of thyroid issue, Hashimoto's, an autoimmune disorder, like I feel like I have an underlying autoimmune disorder and it's just undiagnosed, then fitness and nutrition first, people, specifically nutrition. If you're not working on less processed foods, cleaner eating, gluten-free, dairy-free, like all of those types of things are going to help you so much. But the peptides can help too. And I know my Kate, like she's been working on healthy lifestyle for years, super clean, and these peptides have changed her life when it comes to her autoimmune disorder. And they're changing mine too. Like, I did not have as severe of issues, and I have healed a lot with my nutrition, specifically really focusing on gut healthy nutrition and hormone healthy nutrition. And my new program is perfect for that. So if you need help and a plan and guidance, the app does it all for you. It's all laid out. So we have that. But if you're still struggling, the peptides are 100% worth a try to give it a shot. And we're both using the muscle and med. Okay, so step one, diagnose yourself with an underlying immune disorder. I feel like I have either a thyroid issue or Hashimoto's or some kind of underlying immune disorder. It just hasn't been diagnosed, because I've decided this is what we get when we get social media influencers talking about things they are not qualified to talk about. We have the cortisol girlies on TikTok. We have the hormone girlies. We have the gut health girlies, like all, and the bros. There are bros too. I'm more familiar with the girlies because that's what crosses my feed. You know, obviously in looking up the people that I look up, this is the kind of stuff that I see since I'm looking at primarily MLM people. But there's so much misinformation on TikTok about hormones and gut health and autoimmune and all these stuff that, like, they say things like they'll list these symptoms and people will think, oh, because I'm tired a lot, I must have Hashimoto's. Because I occasionally get indigestion, that must mean that I have a gut health issue. Because I get cravings for things, I have food noise. Like, everyone is self-diagnosing based on social media stuff. And a lot of these symptoms of autoimmune disorders are things that the average person has experienced, just maybe not on the same level as someone with an actual chronic illness. So those things are relatable, but you're not dealing with it all the time. You're not dealing with it to the level that these people are. And I've said a million times before, not to turn into another capitalism rant, but we're all like burned out. We're all working too much. Like, it's just like we need more space in our life for rest. We should be at a 4-day work week. We should all be getting paid more. The median income at this point should be like 6 figures. And I know that sounds crazy, but think about, like, in the 90s, 6 figures was like a rich person. And now it's 2025 and we still think 6 figures is a rich person? Like, in the 90s, one person could support a family of 4 on like $50K a year. So in 2025, that to support a family of 4, I mean, I'd need more than $100K a year working in and living in Chicago. But in a big city, it'd need to be more like $150K to support a family of 4. So anyway, just we all are stressed about different things, and that shows up in our bodies. And like, yes, there are underdiagnosed chronic illnesses, particularly in women, but she has an agenda. Like, she wants to sell you these peptides. She doesn't want you to, she's not teaching you how to like advocate for yourself at the doctor. She's not teaching you like what tests you need to ask them to run on you. She's not teaching you how to communicate your symptoms better. She's not doing any of that. She's not advocating for women to actually find out what's wrong with them and to actually get proper treatment. She's advocating for you to buy her peptides, or even better, join her downline so she can make money off of you. Like, that's what she's advocating for. And she's like, oh, I must have a chronic illness. I must, you know, like, I just, it is bananas to me. BANANAS. It's bananas. And you, young lady, are absolutely not qualified to diagnose anyone with a thyroid condition or Hashimoto's. Like, I know people with that. And if you have that and you feel comfortable sharing, please share in the comments. I have some of the most intelligent, articulate, thoughtful, like, people with critical thinking skills subscribe to my channel, and a lot of y'all are smarter than I am, and like, please, and a lot of you all are so generous with your stories of things you've experienced, and it's educating me and it's educating all of us. I could not believe the audacity of her to be like, I've decided that I have an autoimmune disease and that the peptides cured it. Like, if there's anything that MLM Huns have, it is the audacity, right? Okay, so this is someone she shared from another person, but still, do you have Hashimoto's? I have Graves' and Hashimoto's diseases. I'm down 26.7 pounds since starting the peptides in November. Lean, fit, hydrated, down 8 pounds in 60 days, more strength, energy, and better mood. Much less muscle pain and joint pain. I can exercise and not be in pain for the next 3 days. Oh, these are different screenshots of different testimonials. So these are different people. Just to preface, I refuse to use prescriptions for my Hashimoto's as the meds made me crazy. Hydrate, lean, and fit, way less inflammation. I work out 3 times a week. I haven't been able to budge an ounce in 6 years. In the last 4 weeks, I've lost 8 pounds and feel amazing. So far, no change on the scale, but went from a pant size 8 to a 4, so my waist size is shrinking. Energy shift is very noticeable. Endurance in my workouts better. I also feel like my hair is getting thicker. LOL, I noticed inflammation in my face has decreased too. I take muscle metabolic collection and energized. Okay. None of these are scientific. None of these are reliable. These are all extremely biased. There's no control group. They're all doing other things. I imagine they're all doing faster way to fat loss. And look, I have never done faster way to fat loss. They don't have a free trial for me to try out. So it is possible that maybe their style of workouts are actually, they might have good workouts. I don't know. I don't know. Every MLM, every workout program probably has some good things in it, or else people wouldn't do it. I've never done faster way to fat loss workouts. Maybe they have good workouts. I don't know. I liked some of the Beachbody workouts. I still miss them sometimes, and I will never go back because of the trauma. Even though they're affiliate now, I just I can't make myself. Actually, I found a T25 workout on YouTube for free, and I did that, and I was fine with it because I still like Sean T. Don't tell me if he's done anything bad. I still like him. I thought he was fun, but yeah, I won't give Beachbody any of my money, but I liked some of those workouts. So there might be some faster way workouts that do help with, maybe they're the right intensity, and a low intensity workout for someone with Hashimoto's can be really good. But I still don't think that these peptides are what is making the difference. I think everyone is experiencing a placebo effect and something else in their life. That's what I think. And again, I think it's very irresponsible to try to sell these peptides as something that is going to ease your chronic pain symptoms, your chronic illness symptoms, when nothing the doctor has prescribed you has ever worked. And with most medications, she said the medications made her crazy. Look, people have different reactions to different medications. You can find a different medication. You can ask your doctor for something different. I'm not going to discount that. I know that people have different experiences with different medications, but I also don't think you should be going for these peptides as the cure-all. And I say this I take accountability for advertising Shakeology as something that could help with chronic conditions when I was in Beachbody. That's how I shilled Shakeology. And that was not cool of me. I'm sorry about that. That was irresponsible of me. She has this before and after of her hair that says 6-month results with the muscle and metabolic collection. It may not look like much, but I'm celebrating all the regrowth. Apparently this was when she lost her... I'm not crying about my hair. I definitely don't care that much. This was when I lost my previous biz. So when Beachbody Wonder, which she's marking as November, that was actually September 30th that happened. And it's just very easy. I can see how she could have just brought the part that's down, she could have brought more of it up. Her ponytail could just be slightly different. This looks like regrowth, but it could be how she's styling her hair. It's very difficult to tell. And she's not doing a video where she's showing different parts of her hair. It's very easy to doctor this. And you just take biotin and collagen. You can get those at the grocery store. You can get them at Costco, like you can get them online. But yeah, I don't buy this. By the way, these, like, there's like a foam thing in here. This is not all my hair. There's a foam thing in here, and I clipped an extension in so I could like put my hair over it and then wrap it all around. So this is not all my hair, just for transparency's sake there. Yeah. So that was that. I was just like, if you have a chronic illness, if you have like a thyroid condition or Hashimoto's, I do know from, friends that have it, that those often go hand in hand. I would love to hear your thoughts on this as someone who has experienced this. Like, are there natural supplements that have helped? Are there certain types of workouts or certain types of diets that have helped? The way that she was like, I have this underlying condition I've decided, and so I have to go gluten and dairy free and take these peptides and all this stuff. I do know, actually, the people I know with Hashimoto's are both gluten and dairy free, so there might be something to that. And if going gluten and dairy free, even if you don't have a diagnosis, if that makes you feel better, that's fine. But I feel like in these circles, there's so much like gluten and dairy hate that I'm like, even when I was in Beachbody, I was like, I'm going to go gluten and dairy free for a month one time. And like, I was miserable. I love gluten. I love dairy. Like, I'm a cheese girly. Like, give me all the cheese. But, there could be some merit to that. So I'm not saying everything she said was false, but I am saying consider the source. This person is not a doctor. She's not a dietitian. She's not even gotten her own diagnosis. And I would say, even if she had, the fact that she's in these two MLMs shilling them makes her unreliable, makes her suspect. Like, always take with a grain of salt. Always ask yourself, like, does this person benefit from me buying this stuff? Whereas someone else might be like, I got diagnosed with Hashimoto's, and here are the lifestyle changes that I've made that have helped. And they might not have like a single product linked. They might not be having you spend your money on anything. They might be like, yeah, going gluten and dairy free helped me. Doing this style of, like, maybe doing Pilates helped me, or yoga or whatever, like, so there are influencers that don't make a dime that will just share, like, this is what worked for me. Like, maybe it'll help you. I'm just putting it out there because, like, I want people to feel good, like, so if you're going to take advice from an influencer, take it from someone who doesn't have money to make off of you and who's not trying to recruit you into their pyramid scheme so that they can make money off of you. So that's it for me. Happy Pride Month. Maybe I'll post this video earlier so I can actually post it during Pride Month and post something else later. But I hope you guys all have a great day. Kiss your pets on their little heads for me, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.
What does perfect even mean?